what happens next in France and around the world? That's the question that's being asked tonight.
Here with some insight, Frank Spano. He's Executive Director of the Counterterrorism Institute. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. When you look at this attack, is there something different about this, especially it was multifaceted, many different locations?
We're definitely seeing a coordinated attack, which indicates a high degree of planning. At first, there was some question as to whether or not this was tied to the recent airstrike on Jihadi John, which we believe led to his death. However, the degree of planning that went into this, it's up to 6 different locations with heavy weaponry, with explosives, multiple assailants, suicide vests. That didn't happen overnight. This was a deliberate and well thought out attack strategy.
You mentioned a number of people being involved in this particular attack. They say that 5 are dead, and some people are saying that they got everybody involved. Do you believe that to be the case, or are there more people involved in this thing?
Well, in any hostage-based scenario, and certainly in the realm of terrorism, one of the most important aspects is never being too certain that all of the wolves have been rooted out of the sheep. And that's why the great degree, the lockdown on France in its entirety, the lockdown on the particular venues where the attacks occurred, those are essential steps in order to prevent the potential for other assailants. One of the greatest difficulties, and certainly one of the underlying issues with terrorism and the fight for counterterrorism, is the inability to differentiate. This is not a uniformed force, as we well know. These are individuals who are motivated by an ideological perspective. We're fighting an ideology, a very asymmetric force. And to that end, to answer your question, it's very difficult to say whether or not the active assailants have been neutralized, and further that the supporters for the active assailants may be innumerable.
Well, you talk about the wolves, separating the wolves. You might be letting them in because there are so many of the migrants coming in, and people are wondering whether those are some of the people responsible for tonight's attack.
Definitely, and not to say that there is a defined link between that at this point. However, when we allow an influx, while a great percentage of those refugees are fleeing a legitimate fear or concern, they make for a great cover. It takes enough sheep to hide the wolves. And in this case, I believe that we may have already seen that with Charlie Hebdo and with this attack, and it's only a matter of time for others, unfortunately.
Real quick now,
Yes,
is it much more difficult to protect ourselves than it was around 9/11?
Yes, I think so. We've moved into a more reactionary state. Action always is faster than reaction, and we need to keep that in mind moving forward.
Frank, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.